In this session, we are going to see how to read an input from user and how to print the message or data to the user through console or terminal, whatever you call. Okay, now we have one function called input. This reads an input from the user, but specifying this text, which is an instruction to the user for an input, is completely optional. Without this also, you can get the input from user, but the problem is user may not know what to do in this case. For that, you'll be providing a prompt to the user to instruct him what needs to be entered. Okay, here I am receiving name and mark. Now let's try to print the both. Print is the simple function to print the data to the screen. Now let's run this script. Right click and run Python file in terminal. You can see, enter your name. Let me delete this. So run Python file in terminal. Okay, now it prompts the username to us. Let me enter Arokia. Then enter your subject 1 mark, which I enter 90. Okay, now it printed the name and mark I am multiplying by 2. Now the problem comes, I am trying to multiply my mark, but it says 90 instead of 180. So what is the problem? Now let's check what is the data type of name and mark. To do that, we have a function called type. You need to give an object as an input. Object is nothing but our variable. Let's type name and let's type mark. Okay, now mistake. Okay, now right click Python file in terminal. Okay, now it asks Arokia and 90. You see, the type of name and mark is string and string. Mark also string. So what is the problem? When you read an input from user, it always gets an input as string. If you want to do arithmetic operations, you need to convert that explicitly integer. So I am converting a string as an integer. After that, I am multiplying by 2. Now it should go fine. 90, it will come 180. Though it's string, we are typecasting it here. So this is how we read an input from user and we print an output to user in the terminal. Now let's see how to explore a variable. What I mean by explore? We already know how to declare a variable, saying variable name equal to and the data. Okay, now here I have declared two variables, A and B. If you feel the data is same, we can change. A is 10 and B is 20. Now, this should be stored somewhere in the memory. Is it possible to see where it has been stored in memory? For that, we can use ID method. For that ID method, we need to pass an object which we want to see the memory address. Okay, here ID of A and ID of B. Now let me declare one more variable with the same data, C equal to 10. Let me print C as well. Okay, now we will comment all this for now and we will run. To comment in VS Code, shortcut is Ctrl// and uncomment also the same, and run Python file in terminal. Okay, you can see the memory address of A and C is same and B is different. That's because these two variables A and B has the same data. So when you reuse the same data to store in a different variable, Python will allocate the same memory address to the new variable as well, because since it already has an object which contains 10, the same memory can be used for the new variable as well. That's why this provides The same ID for variable A and variable C. Okay, if you change the value of this B equal to 9, now we have replaced 20 with 9, and this ID also will change because that got changed. You can see this ID also got changed from this to this. Okay, is there any way to declare variables apart from the standard one, which is A equal to 10, B equal to 20, like that as usual you are declaring? This is the one. You can go on with any number of variables, but the order you need to keep in mind. 10 will be stored in A. The first data which you have specified here will be stored in the first variable name. Second will be stored in second. Third will be in third. Like that, it will assign the values to this variable. Okay, if you want to print multiple variables inside print function, you can use comma, and if when you print string, you can use plus or comma as well to concatenate the output. Okay, now how this different way of declaring a variable will help us in some places. So why should we learn? This is the way which we already know. We can use this as well, but we should learn this kind of additional tips and tricks in Python to ease some of the operations. You can take this as an example. This is swapping of variables. Okay. As usual in another programs and all, another programming languages, you will be in need of third variable to hold data as a temporary. But in Python, you can straight away do that using this kind of declaration. Here I have A comma B. I have stored 10 to A, 20 to B. Here I have declared store the value of B in A and store the value of A in B directly. So in one line, we can swap the values between the variables. So these kind of tricks will help you in your scripting, like one-liners, which will help us a lot while we proceed with further scripting. Yes, explore variable methods available. If you want to see what are all the available attributes and methods for my variable, this is what it is. You can use this method called dir to pass a variable which you want to know the attributes and methods. Just print this. You can see these are all the attributes and methods available. You can say bit length and imaginary value, real value, and a lot of stuff. Okay, now we'll try only one thing. Let's try to print a dot bit length. What's the value of a as of now? A should be here we have swapped, so a will be 20. Now we'll see what's the occupied bit length of a. Sorry, this is the method, so we should call it with open bracket and close bracket. Let's run. You can see 5 bits it occupied to store a number 20. So this is how you explore yourself the attributes and methods available for each variable or each variable data type. Yes, actually not depends on variable, it depends on the data type. Next we are going to see numbers data type. Here I have shown you declaring different types of numbers. This is a full number integer. Here we have negative number declaration. Here floating point. Here I have complex number. This is a real part and this is imaginary part. So we can define complex number using this method as well, if we know on real and imaginary parts alone. So let's see how Python prints complex number in the screen, and all the remaining number, it's very much straightforward. You can try a comma b comma c comma okay c. So let me print only these 3 in terminal. You can see this 3 got printed. You can see the complex number printed here, 10 plus 20j, 5 plus 3j. And in complex number you can check the available methods using here. So for the For that, let me print dir of d. Okay, then we'll see print d dot real. Real means like the real part of that complex number, and imag is imaginary part of that complex number. Now let's try to run this script. This is the entire attributes and methods available for complex number. And the real part is 10, imaginary part of that complex number is 20 for d variable. Okay, like that you can explore further, and you can convert the number between these types, integer, floating and all. You can see here I have declared one integer a. Let me convert that to float. I am converting and printing the float version of the same. Let me disable this, otherwise a lot of output will be coming. Now let's run the same. You can see 10 is actual integer number. When you convert into float, you get 10 dot decimal place as well. So like that you can convert the number to other data types within number, integer to float and float to integer. Like that you can convert, and try to convert the c to integer. Print int of c. Now see, we have declared 10.7, but when you get integer part of it, you will get only 10. So like that you can do the operations here. The basic operation, as you know, arithmetic, plus, minus, multiplication, division and modulus operator for this data type. And there could be some places you may need to convert the integer to string. In that case you can use str of your number. So this will be converted as string. While printing you don't see any difference, but this converts into string. If you want to check that further, you can use our type method, which we saw already. Now you can see that is string method. It got converted, then type says that's a string. So that's it for number data type. Let's move to another one. Okay, now let's see data type called string. It's nothing but a text. So let's first declare one text with Python codes. Okay, so as I said earlier, we can use single quote or we can use double quote. That isn't a problem unless you use another single quote or double quote inside that string. So let's see, we have one more variable where I need single quote here, maybe Python's futures. Let's keep it like that, but I need single quote only on the outer side, but I need single quote inside at the same time. In that case you can escape this single quote using this backslash. So let's try to print this to A and print B. Now let me run this script. You can see the single quote appears in the text. Yes. Now we'll explore the methods available for string dir of A. So let's run. You can see there are huge set of methods are available for string. Okay, I'll explain one by one, and instead of running this script each time, let's jump into interpreted mode. Let me type Python, and I have got into interpreted mode. Let me declare one variable called course equal to Python tutorial. Okay, now we have a string ready to play with. So first, the basic thing in string, basic operations in string will be checking for some pattern in a string. For that, you can use in operator. So let's see whether tut in course. What this in operator will do, it will check for the pattern tut in course text. So let's enter. It says true because it appears here. Same time, you can check tut1, which does not exist in the course. It will return false. Correct. Now we saw how to check the substring of the string. So now we'll check the basic stuff. Replacement. Replacing tutorial with course or tutorial with beginner's tutorial. Let's do course dot replace. First argument should be, this method is from a string, so you should call this method from your variable. So take course and replace what I am saying. The first argument is tutorial. Okay, find tutorial text and replace that with beginner tutorial. Okay, that's it. It got replaced. But one thing you should note here is, it won't change the variable course. When you print course, that is still Python tutorial. But the point which you are doing here is, you are just replacing and printing. It won't affect the variable course. That you need to understand. That is what mutability. If you want to replace this course, you need to assign that back. If you assign the modified text back to the course variable, now the course variable will see that reflection, whatever the replacement we have done. So this is how replacement method works. Now let's look for another method, dir. Here you can convert lowercase, uppercase. You can check whether it's lowercase or not, uppercase or not. So there are a lot of possibilities here. Now let's check course dot is upper. What it will check? It will check whether the course variable content is uppercase or not. Here there is not uppercase. Okay. Now the same way lowercase will work, and you can convert the text to lowercase using this and uppercase using this. Upper method, lower method, upper method. And there are additional few methods which helps us to evaluate a string. Let's say marks equal to 90, but keep a note, I am declaring this marks as a string, not a number. Now I need to evaluate whether this marks variable has only numbers or other text as well. To do that, there is one method you can see here, is digit. You can see is digit. You can use that method to check whether it has only numbers or not. And I am changing that marks variable with one invalid character. This will give false. So when you read input from user, let's say mark, as we saw in a previous session, input, enter your mark. Okay, now it prompts us to enter the mark. Now I am entering 90A, C, something like that. By mistake I have entered one character. Okay, enter, that's it. Now mark has 90C. Before converting that to integer, if you simply convert that to integer, you will get an error message. In order to avoid that, you can check before converting. Mark dot is digit. So if this returns true, then you keep space 1 2 3 4. Okay, since that's the standard, I'm going to maintain that 4 space. Here I am converting mark equal to int of mark. Okay, now if you want to close this if statement, you can hit enter one more time, so the interpreter will understand, okay, you are done with your code block for if condition meets true. Okay, then hit enter. That's it. So it ran. That's not a valid digit, so it didn't go to this code block. Now let's store one valid number. Let's run the same again. If I am pressing up arrow to get my previous statements back. Okay, mark. Now press enter. Enter, executed. Now check the type of mark. It's integer because it met the condition is true, then it went inside and it converted to integer and stored back to mark. So this is how we do the validation mostly. You can see there are a lot of other methods like is ASCII. This is to check whether all the given character text is ASCII character or not. Is alnum is alphanumeric. This will check. Now we have mark with 90C. Now this alnum, this will return true because it contains alphabets and numbers. So let's say mark dot is alnum true. So now let's assign mark equal to only 90 and we will run this true. You need to be careful what you are checking. So here you can see, if you want to check only numbers, you need to use EasyDigit. If you want to check number and alphabet also can be there, means you can use isAlnum. If you want to check only alphabets, then you can use isAlpha. If you want to check is whether it's a decimal number, not a float point number, then you can use isDecimal. And LGest and LStrip, these are all we will see now. Okay, now we have our course as Python beginner tutorial. Okay, with some mistake I have left 3 spaces from the beginning, then I have entered like this, and after also I have left some space. In this case you can see there is a empty space before and after that. To remove this empty spaces before or after the string, you can use strip. In strip there will be 3 methods: strip, lstrip and rstrip. You can see strip, this will remove the empty spaces from the beginning and from the end as well. If you want to remove only from the beginning, you should use lstrip. Only at the end you can use rstrip. Okay, let's try that now. lstrip, I am just printing, I am not changing the variable course. Okay, the left side spaces got removed. Now I'm checking rstrip, right side got removed. Now strip, both the spaces got removed. So this is how strip works. Make sure strip won't remove the space in the middle, like between words. If there is a space between words, it won't remove that. Only front and back it will be removing. Okay, now we have starts with and ends with. What this will do, the word itself has its meaning, so that's what Python is famous for. Starts with some pattern from the string. Very simple. Course starts with Python. This will return true. Sorry, because since we have not changed, the space is still there. So to avoid that, we strip and store back to course variable. Now let's try to starts with true. Starts with some wrong pattern, false. Now the same way you can test ends with al, true. because it ends with IAL, because we have stripped the space from course here. So this pattern will be true. Okay, now in statement we have already seen, and we can go for this title. See what this title does. All the first character of each word becomes caps. So this is what title does. Split is basically we can specify a delimiter. Based on that delimiter, it will split the string. Now let's say split, but we are not passing any delimiter. Now let's see what this gives. By default, it assumes this space and it will split. Okay, what if we have two spaces between words? So let me use course, and I am typing Python 2 space beginner tutorial. Okay, now we have course. Let's use the same split. You can see here I have two spaces, but you can't see that empty space here. Okay, now we have split. We get some different kind of output which we have never seen in this course. Here I can see square bracket starting and ending. Inside that I have string with comma separated. So this is called list. So we will see additional methods for list here, but now just think that this is an array. If you are familiar with other languages, this you can see, you can consider that as an array. It's like a bunch of elements, inside that one single data type. So this we can say collection of elements as well. Each item we call that as element. Let's say I have some different delimiter to use here. I have Python, and I have hash, and I have a beginner, then hash tutorial. Let's assume there is some text like this. We need to split this string into 3 elements. Python as the first element, beginner as second element, tutorial as third element. To do that, we can just call split. If you call this split straight away, you will have only one element because it doesn't have any space. So by default, it will be considering the entire string as a one element. If you want to use hash as a split character or a text, you can use like this. So this will be splitted into three elements with each word by considering hash as a delimiter. So this is how split works.